everyone. Welcome to the Sharon the Red Baron show. I am Sharon with my special guest, Miss Tracey. She's awesome and
Hello.
amazing. And she's so cute, huh? And I wanted to let people know the reason why I started this channel is you'll hear me say it constantly, but I am truly, truly just mesmerized by hearing so many people's different stories and how they're awakening because we're all awakening a different way. And I just think it's
Okay.
just pure magical. And I think a lot of the awakening may not be the best of times, but I feel like the people that are awakening are learning to understand why they've been awakening and listening with inside. So
Mhm.
kind of excited about this. So thank you, Miss Tracey.
Yes,
So good
thanks for
to
having
have you here.
thanks for having me, Sharon the Red Baron.
My dad called me that, so that's why I called this show Sharon the Red Baron. So I
You like
digress.
Snoopy?
I do like Snoopy. I had a cute little, like, that actually reminds me, I had the cutest little nightshirt when I was a girl, and I had Woodstock on it, and he had a squeaker on him. I
I
still do
used to
like
love
that.
Snoopy, and I used to have Snoopy sheets. Like I loved him. He was so cute. He was so cool.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
just laying back on his
yeah,
doghouse, just like watching
yeah,
everyone fighting and wah, 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 wah. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, listen, I wanted to make a public apology because I was so excited talking with Jill yesterday that literally, when you're secluded and you don't really have many people to talk to, and I just felt
Mhm,
like we were just like I was interjecting and so forth. I was just so excited. So
mhm.
I just wanted to publicly apologize for that. And I'll be more conscious of that because I definitely want to hear what Miss Tracy Sheldon has to say. So
That's good. You're getting excitable. I like that. That's fun. It's passion.
yeah. I'm not going backwards. I see it's going to be beautiful. And I say it so much that, it was the best of times and the worst of times. And I think many people that have been awakening have been through the worst of times, but now they see the future looks bright. You got to wear shades, something like that.
Exactly. Exactly. I
Well,
feel it
listen.
coming on. The age of Aquarius.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I think so many of us we've been waiting so patiently. So
Peace, love, happiness.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Well, listen, Tracy, can I ask you? I always like to ask my guests, are you a believer in signs? And if so, why? Why?
Well, yes, I am. Like I have two stories that are pretty cool signs.
Yeah, share, please
Um
do.
let me see the first one I should tell you. I'll probably start with um when I lived in LA, my friend and I were going to make a short film,
Hmm.
and it was kind of funny and comedic because she's was 6'3" from Denmark and I'm like 5'5", so like just the height difference was kind of funny, so we kind of played off like that when we did the movie.
Uh-huh.
So it was like a short film, and we like prayed to Saint Jude, the saint of hopeless causes, and he's known to never fail. Like if you do a novena to him for 9 days, and you say it times each day, by the end of the novena, he's supposed to never be known to fail. And that's how I ended up getting my house in LA that I told you about, that I
Hmm.
prayed to Saint Jude for. Like I kept praying to Saint Jude to get this house. But anyway, so that was like the kind of like what happened in the little script was these girls wanted to get married, and they were like really full of faith and thinking they were going to meet the one, right? So my character
Uh-huh.
wanted to marry John Travolta, and her character wanted to marry Brad Pitt. So we prayed to St. Jude. It was just like a comedy of us, We filmed it in LA,
That's
and like,
awesome.
and we were like really full of faith. And the director thought we were kind of kooky because we like were so full of faith, like, and we thought, and it was called It's a Sign, which is kind of funny. That was the name of our little short comedy that we did. It's a Sign. So anytime
Uh-huh.
we see something, we'd look at each other and go, it's a sign. Like everything was a sign.
I
So,
love that though. I think that's awesome.
and the director had this idea. She goes, well, I want to put smiley beanie babies behind every scene that you do. She said, because that's going to represent the unborn babies that you two have never had. So we thought that was kind of kooky. We're like, okay, whatever. She was making fun of us. We are kind of making fun of her. So we filmed the whole movie.
Uh-huh.
And then I would always go back to Florida in between being in LA because I always would miss Florida because I'm in love with Florida. So the whole time I
Oh.
was living in LA, I just always missed Florida. And my parents were living in Florida. So I go back to Florida and I go to this place and there's like a bank where a vision of the Virgin of Guadalupe appeared on the bank. And this is when I had first moved to LA in 1996. I actually have a picture to show you. Whoops. So this is what appeared on the bank. Can you see that?
It looks very like a rainbowy type. Is it
Okay,
the rainbow?
it's a rainbow vision of the Virgin of Guadalupe. Okay.
Wow.
So this
That,
appeared on the bank in Florida in 1996.
uh-huh.
So my mom took us there, my brother and I, when we flew back from LA. It was like during Christmas. And I started crying, and my brother started crying. We could feel the presence. You could feel a presence there. And since then, this has been ruined when the Mel Gibson movie came out about Jesus because someone threw rocks at it. So now only you can only see the bottom half, which is they say like Jesus is in the bottom half. If you see it in person. So now they have glass on it. But now they've taken over that building, like some nuns, and and there was a lady that was getting messages from Mary, and her name was Rita Ring, and she was from Ohio. She was a part of those nuns. She would fly from Ohio down to Florida, and she said she was getting messages like every day from Mary, and she wrote these series of books. And some of the messages were telling her, this was back in 1996, that the families are going to be separated, that the government is lying to you, to pray for the children. These are some of the messages she was getting. And I was like, family,
Whoa.
that's never going to happen. This is back in 1996.
Yeah,
So,
I get what you're saying.
and they had all
Uh-huh.
these rosaries there. So I would go there and get rosaries, and I would bring them back with me to LA, and I'd give them to my friends,
Uh-huh.
and they it was really spiritual me going to LA because it was like following my dream. I was afraid to follow. And then when I got there, met people from all over the world in my class and my acting class. And it was just really kind of like a spiritual journey going out there to follow my heart. So
Yeah.
anyway, I would always go back to that Mary building once I had that experience and I started saying the rosary after having that experience and feeling her presence. So after filming that short film, It's a Sign, I came back to Florida for a visit, and I wanted to go directly back to that building because I kept wanting to go back to that building where she appeared.
That's
So I go
amazing. I could see why.
so I
Jeez.
go back to the building, and remember I told you the story about the smiley beanie baby faces that were behind each scene.
Yeah.
So as soon as I walk into the building, there's a whole entire shelf of smiley beanie babies. This
There
is
you go.
so I'm like, where did those come
Awesome.
from? Because I just flew back from
Who's
LA after
punking me? Right? Is
yeah,
that what
right
you were
after
thinking?
my
Like, who's
back.
getting punked?
They're like, oh, Rita Ring, the lady who's getting messages from Mary, had those sent down from Ohio last week. So that was kind of a big thing for me. Like, I was like, oh my God, that's totally a sign. And we were just making a movie called It's a Sign. So that kind of was like,
That's
wow.
crazy. That's
And then,
like a double, triple confirmation.
yes, so there's that story. Then I have
Wow.
one more story. I
Yeah.
kept getting lots of repeating numbers too. Like before I started getting into this journey, they would be nonstop. There'd be 111, 222, 234, 222, 333. And I started taking screenshots on my phone because it was just nonstop. I was like, what is going on? I had no idea back then what was going on. But I had my grandmother was very spiritual and religious, and she was very Catholic and just she just really had a lot of spirituality. She kind of like put that onto me with Mary and the rosary. And I always loved Virgin Mary. Just kind of had a draw up to her. But and we would
Hmm.
always go and say go to these like Catholic churches, and we would light candles and we'd say prayers. And there's this one in Pittsburgh. It's called St. Anthony's. It's supposed to have the most
Hmm.
relics of any church. It has like a piece of the cross, a piece of Mary's veil. It has everything. So we'd always go
Wow.
buy candles. And there was like a store next door where you could buy little prayer cards and stuff. So we went over there, me and my grandmother, my mom, and we lit our candle. Then we went to the little store next door, and the
Uh-huh.
receipt came to 444. And so that's my birthday, August 4th. So when my
Oh.
grandmother was passing away, I guess they had the hospice people there, and she kept saying 444, 444, 444.
You got the gift, girl.
So now I get a lot of signs from her from the 444. And I was in Boston. I went to see the Billy Joel concert, and it was a big birthday for me.
Uh-huh.
I was turning 50, and we had never been to Billy Joel before, never been to we went to like the baseball park in Boston, Fenway Park.
Yeah.
But we hadn't even gone to our seats. We had pretty good seats. We paid like 200 to get pretty good seats, but they weren't, you know, floor
Yeah.
seats.
Yeah.
So we're like getting ready to walk to our seat, and this guy approaches us, this young guy, and it has Billy Joel like on his shirt. He's like,
Uh-huh.
"I want to upgrade your tickets," and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And on the
Because
way
he's like,
there,
you're hot and I
yeah,
want you in the front row.
I guess Billy Joel likes having all girls like in the front row.
Oh,
So
because he's smart. Women are smart.
he doesn't want like people that spend a lot of money there. He wants all girls, I guess. So he's like, I want to upgrade your ticket. And I kept seeing 444s the whole way there before I got there. My friend Ellie, she's from Long Island. She's like, whatever. She's kind of like, well, you're crazy, you know. So we get there, and the guy says, I want to upgrade your seats. He upgrades the seats. It's my birthday, August 4th. He gets us to sit in the very front row, center seat. It's seat 4, aisle 4. 444. So
I
that
love it.
to her to tell
Did you
me
thank
happy
her?
birthday.
Did you
What'd you
thank
say?
her? Did you thank her?
Yes, but I always
That's
have had,
so
so I
cool.
totally believe in synchronicities and signs and
Me
numbers.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Isn't it crazy when those things happen and they just keep happening and you're like, okay, I'm gonna
It's
just,
amazing. It's amazing. It's
yeah,
wow.
it is. It is. I love it. Oh my gosh, this is the stuff that I just love. It's
Yeah, I
just,
totally believe in signs and synchronicities, and God is like, speaking to us all the time.
oh yeah. It's funny that you say that because I remember so I was brought up in Catholic church and I just remember at an early age that it just didn't feel right. I felt like there was no hope for anyone to do better because half the church were sinners on the things that they were saying that if you commit these sins, you're going to hell, and all that. And
Yeah.
so at an early age, I felt really spiritual. And I always thought that there was something wrong with me. But do you feel that, how can I put this in the right words? Do you feel like church, and I don't want to offend anyone because I know church is a sacred place and so forth, but do you feel that church and Jesus, or should I say Jesus, was more spiritual than a church? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I
I
think he
feel
was
like
more
the
I think he was more
religion,
spiritual.
I do too.
Like he was more like loving everybody, not separating everybody. And the churches and the religions all seem to separate everybody, with labels like you're Catholic, you're Protestant, you're Muslim. Like it's all separation. And I feel like Jesus wanted everybody to come together. It wasn't separated like that. But
I'm so glad you said that because that's how I've been feeling for
yeah,
so long now. Just something
but
didn't ever make sense. I don't know. It's
but
hard to
there's like
explain.
this little shrine that I go to. It's called St. Michael's Shrine. And it's in this little Greek village in Tarpon Springs where they get sponges from the ocean. And it's a tiny little shrine. And whenever this little boy was little, St. Michael appeared to him and he had a tumor. And he said, if you get a shrine built in my honor, if you tell your mother to build this shrine, that I'll heal you from the brain tumor. And there's pictures in that little chapel that have cried with Mary in there as well. And so they built this chapel to St. Michael, and the boy was healed. And since he's passed away, but the Greek family still lives there. So I go
Uh-huh.
there all the time. I maybe have been going there for 20 years to light candles in this cute shrine. And it's like I like places like that where it has like a spiritual story where it's like you can go just by yourself and pay $1, light a candle, and like
Mhm.
I feel like it's more of a spiritual journey. Like I feel like it's good to go to church if you want to, but I don't think you have to. You could still have that relationship with God and praying on your own.
I loved how you just said that because that's how I feel. And I finally, for the last few years, I feel like I'm comfortable with that. It feels
Yeah.
better instead of,
Yeah.
well, one, taking your time to go drive all the way on your days up. Not that you don't have time for Jesus, please. I don't mean it like that. But you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
when you start thinking about these things, like he's always been right in here.
He's always with us. He's always, and I've always felt like really close to God. I think it's because I spend a lot of time by myself. I don't know if it's because I'm a Leo, but there's a part of me that I love people, but there's also a part of me where I like to be alone and spend time by myself. And I feel like in those moments of silence when you're by yourself is when you could really feel God's presence speaking to you. So I feel like that has always made me feel closer to God because of that.
I love how you put that because that's how I feel. I like having my alone time. I like
Yeah,
not having the other people's opinions and all the noise and
yeah,
TV ads and all that and
yeah.
blah blah and gossip and all that. I like that zen like and
It's hard to think straight when you have all those noises coming at you. And the
I agree.
frequencies. Like for some reason, I cannot stand the frequencies of television. Like I told you, I love the movies that are classic Hollywood movies, but those don't have that same frequency. Like when I hear the news, oh, I can't stand to hear the sound of the reporters' voices. Like, and I never watched the news my entire life because I always thought it was negative. And now I realize that
Wow, you were
correct.
ahead of the game.
I
Clearly.
know.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome because I feel the same way now, especially this last year. Oh, I'd say the last 6 months. I I get about five. I turn on the local news because I like to do decodes. But other
Mhm.
than that, I mean, after 5 minutes, I'm like, done,
I don't
done.
like all the negative stories. I never did. It's just all the
Yeah.
who was shot, who was killed. I don't like to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
No.
Can I ask you when you were a little girl, did you feel the same way seeing all the stories on war and everything and just not really it just did it not resonate? Where did it upset you? Like, did you have
I
questions about
avoided
it?
all that as much as possible, you know.
Yeah.
But when I would see like war on TV, that kind of really scared me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't, know what was going on. I thought we were going to be bombed here or hurt ourselves. Like I never liked seeing that on television. I just,
I'm glad I don't feel alone because that's how I
yeah,
felt. That's why I wanted to ask because I just remember when I was a little girl, I just couldn't understand why everyone was fighting.
I
And I,
know.
I think little kids probably feel the same way, in general, that they're born so innocent and fun loving
Mhm.
and then you just start showing them war. It's just so confusing for a kid. I
Yes,
think.
I think so too. I think it's best to not show them that,
I agree. I
have those images in
agree.
their mind.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
never, I don't remember like that being on TV really when I was little. I remember watching a lot of movies and kind of being lost in movies like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz and all those
Oh,
movies.
what was that girl? The purple girl there, Veruca? No, was it Veruca?
What was her name? She was funny.
The
I
little
want to see the
bratty
new
girl
one.
though.
The one it's out now called Wonka. It looks cool. I want to see that. But I love those movies that take you to another place and you forget where you are and they take you on a journey. I remember
Yeah.
watching a lot of movies as a kid, and I don't remember really anything about watching much about war really ever, except for
Yeah.
when I grew older, I saw it on the television, and I was a little bit like,
Yeah.
what's going on? They're showing bombing, and when we were at
Yep.
war,
Yep.
but I try to avoid that. And always have as much as possible. I don't like negativity.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you on that. So, can I ask you, when was your aha like true awakening? What happened? And if you could
well,
explain that, that'd be amazing.
I would say it was I was living in LA, and it was when 9/11 occurred. That was the
Mm,
first time I woke up. I knew that there was no way that could happen on American soil. And then they were trying to turn us against all the Muslim people by showing, these different images on the news. And I knew
mhm.
right then and there that something
Something
was
wasn't
up.
right.
Yeah. And then as I lived in LA, like I had a lot of friends that were out there 20, 30 years. And there were so many talented people out there, like that were filmmakers, musicians, comedians, actors, actresses. And there's so much talent there and nobody was making it. Like people would get a little piece here, a little piece there, a little part there, maybe a tiny part there, but nobody
Hmm.
was breaking through. And so
Hmm.
that was kind of made me think, what's going on?
Like it's rigged or something.
Yeah. And
Like,
then I started seeing like rappers talk about the Illuminati. And then I started hearing them
mm,
say that you had to join the Illuminati in order to be famous. And then that kind of started me down the rabbit hole. And I started,
Really? So
I
you
started,
recognized that a long time ago.
yeah, I would say that was 2012. And I started like researching the Illuminati. And then I was like, my last name is Sheldon. And I saw that that was in the Sheldon Bush line. I was like, ooh, and I always hated George Bush. I never liked him. And I was like, I don't want to be a part of that bloodline. So then I just started researching the Illuminati and to see if that was a part of my bloodline or not. And then one
Are
thing led to
you?
the next. No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Not that I would judge you. I believe
I
certain
don't think
people can
so.
flip
But
it.
I saw that he did marry Prescott Sheldon Bush, the great grandfather, married into that Sheldon line. So then I was like, then I started that kind of made me want to know more about the Illuminati, about the bloodline families. So I started researching
Wow.
all of that.
And what
And then
year was this again? So this was in what year?
2012,
So you were
it was on
way.
YouTube. The rappers were talking about it and they were putting videos out about it, about how you had to join the Illuminati in order to be a part of the entertainment business. So then I was like wondering, about the Illuminati and I started researching all that stuff. The one thing led to the next, and I would say maybe 2017 when Q dropped was when I started seeing all these different videos on YouTube. And I started seeing on, it was trying to think, Chrissy Teigen and Rainn Wilson put
Oh,
up these really disgusting things on Twitter about pedophilia, like joking
what?
about it. And then I saw Ray
Oh,
Chandler on Instagram where she was a part of the trafficking of the children. And there were like pictures of the guy that was running Pizzagate, James Elefante, where there were pictures of children with their hands like duct
what?
taped different, desk. And then there was this
Trying to
image.
make it look like it's art or
Yeah, I
something,
couldn't
right?
get these images out of my mind, but I almost feel like I was being spiritually led piece by piece to put the puzzle together. Then I saw the Podesta and Hillary emails, and then I saw the Podesta artwork. And and
Could
then
you
once all the
explain that for our viewers, like what you saw for the Potesta
well, the
artwork?
Podesta emails were they were to Hillary. And
Mm-hmm.
it was talking about them going to a swimming pool with children that were like 9 and 11 and 10, and that they were going to be waiting in the pool for them. And once you kind of, and they were like images that were intercepted that were to Hillary and Podesta.
Yeah. Were those the
And
emails that were released that Trump had released before he left
yeah,
office? So
yes,
it's okay. I just wanted to like clarify
yes.
so people that are
And
going to
then
be
there
watching in
was
the future.
artwork of his that was disgusting, that was showing um children that were like being hung up by their hands. And it was, you couldn't get those images
That's
out of your
sick.
mind at all. You just couldn't get the images out of your mind. Then when you put it with the Ray Chandler and then the Pizzagate, James Alabante. And then I saw them being interviewed on James Colbert, and I forget who he was interviewing at the time. If it was Hillary, I'm not sure who he was interviewing, but they were saying that Pizzagate was a lie. I think it was him, James Colbert, saying Pizzagate was a lie, and that's when I knew that they were all lying because I had seen the pictures and I just knew it was real. I could feel it in my heart that what they
Yeah.
were doing was trafficking the children. And then you connected that with Epstein Island, and I just felt like a need to, help
Start going
get the
digging
word
more
out
and
about what was
more.
going on, because not everybody knew, what was going on. But once you see those images in your mind, it's almost like a puzzle that comes together and you piece it all
Mhm.
together. But I almost felt like I was being spiritually led, this piece, this piece, this piece, that piece. And once I saw the whole picture, I couldn't unsee it. Nobody could talk me out of it. I knew what was going on.
Good for you though for holding your
Yeah.
ground and not just passing it off as artwork or something because
Yeah, I
let's
knew it was disgusting. It was, I knew that they were up to no good.
yeah. So can I ask you with you starting to research a lot of that and so forth, were you starting to notice a lot of signs and symbolism wherever you would go to, like, that sort of thing? Since you
What
kind of started to, since you were starting to put the pieces together, realizing that Pizzagate was actually real and human trafficking and all that, Were you seeing like signs and symbolism wherever you would go, like
I
on
mean,
structures or buildings
I
or,
was
you know
seeing
what I
lots of
mean?
synchronicity with numbers. Like I was
Uh-huh.
seeing numbers a lot. And then I wasn't really telling anybody about this because I thought I was the only one researching, you know. I remember
Mm-hmm.
walking around like saying I'm a top secret super spy. Like I'd be getting like, you know, exercising and I was like would
But you are, you are. I can feel
but
it.
I just wasn't telling anybody about it. Then my
Yeah.
brother had come home. He said one of our friends from LA who's a comedian, he was going to be in Tampa. He's like, you should go see Sam perform, and his name is Sam Tripoli. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go see Sam because Sam used to always come to all of our parties that we used to have in LA. And my brother and him used to valet park together when we were first starting out in
Sounds like you
LA.
guys
So
had so much fun growing up in Hollywood and
we
all
had a
that.
lot of
I
fun.
digress though. I'm
We had
just
a lot
saying.
of fun being out there following our dream. We're lucky that we didn't run into any of the bad people when we were there. But so he
Mhm.
told me you should go see Sam's show. Sam's in town. And
Mhm.
Sam had gathered a group of people together in LA where he stormed CNN, was trying to get them to talk about the Pizzagate story because they weren't talking about it.
He
So
did
he had
that? He
he did
went?
it he did it in Hollywood. He organized a big group of people, and it was a lot of people that stormed it. So I went to
Uh-huh.
see Sam perform in Tampa, and as soon as I got there, he goes to me, Pizzagate's real. And this is after his show. I like hung out with him after seeing him perform stand up. He said, Pizzagate's real. I said, yeah, and I think that's a fake Dave Chappelle. I said, doesn't even look like Dave Chappelle. And so then he said, hey, listen, I have a show. It's called Tinfoil Hat. And he said, you should watch it. So when I started watching his show, Tinfoil Hat, and Sam, since then, he goes around touring with a bunch of other comedians and he does like conspiracy shows, and he's been on Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and different things like that.
That does sound familiar. I'm
But
gonna
if
have to look
he, you can check him out on YouTube, and he still does conspiracy shows and he had all kind of people on his shows.
uh-huh.
So that led me to more truthers that were telling stories about like the tunnels and the trafficking of the children, and and there was just so many truthers. Like I could not stop watching them. I think I watched about every single one of them. I watched Anonymous. I watched I have a list of all the ones I was watching. Anonymous, and we know Serial Brain, McAllister, X22 Report, Sam Tripoli, my friend with the tinfoil hat show, Roseanne, Jennifer Eason, Prime, 107, Tom Numbers, Charlie Ward, Janine Tarot, Patriot Street Fighter, Simon Parks,
I
Gene Decode, Mal K, David Rodriguez, Negative 48. So it started with Anonymous and it ended with Negative 48. And
I
it's
love
like
that. I listen to
I
almost all of those.
I
I love
couldn't
those
stop
guys.
watching. I actually thought something was wrong. I couldn't stop watching all these, but every
Yeah.
time I would watch something, it would lead me to another piece of the story.
Yes. I
Yeah,
felt the same way. I mean, when people are doing this on their own, I get what you're saying. You're like, am I really going crazy? Because like it literally like look at all these pictures and stuff that they got from government files and stuff. Like this is out there in the public and no one is picking up on it. I mean,
and it was when I was introduced to the Negative 48 on Telegram that I was like so happy because of some people in my family were turning against me because I was, you know, they thought this was crazy, these conspiracy theories. But
mhm.
whenever I heard Negative 48 talking, and then I heard all these people on his channel talking, I was like, oh my God, people who were thinking like I'm thinking, what a godsend, you know, because I was just feeling alone,
Yes. Yep.
bullied by people because I was stepping out to try to tell the story
You're
that
my
people
sister
didn't want to
now.
believe. Yes, soul
I'm
sister.
so glad. I agree. Because that's where I met you was Negative 48's channel in Busted Out of the
Yeah,
Matrix.
yeah.
I'm so grateful for you. I honestly I mean that
Uh,
from the
Thank you.
bottom of my heart.
Grateful
Because
for
you
all of us in the movement helping with getting the word out.
yeah, it's like a heart connection.
It really is.
It's like the first time you feel like you connect with people where you just don't feel judged or dumb or
Right,
even if they don't agree with you, it's something that, when we
right,
all throw our ideas out, we don't shoot it down. We're like, okay,
right.
it's nice.
It was nice to connect with people who felt the way I did because my brother at the time, you know, didn't agree with what I was, you know, believing in, even though he knew about 9/11 and it being an inside job. So, and then my acting coach turned on me because he didn't like my beliefs either. So to find other people in like, that all thought like me, it was awesome. It was just,
Yeah.
it really lifted my spirit because it was a point where I was starting to feel like I was going crazy because I was being bullied, to think
Yep, I
that's the way I was
understand.
thinking.
I think all of us that are listening understand that
Yeah,
can relate. It's a very, very lonely, lonely place. But I
it
also
can be.
feel, yeah. Do you feel at
That's
the
why you got
same
to find
time?
like-minded people.
Yeah, but do you
Yeah.
also feel like when you had those lonely times, you were able to do a lot of thinking on your own? You know what I mean? Like to really hone in on your beliefs and so forth, where do you feel stronger now?
Yes, I do, but it's still, heartbreaking. The people who
Yeah,
like turned against you and said, especially people that you've known your entire life, like you would
I
expect
understand.
them to know that you wouldn't be crazy,
Yeah, that's
and
a
they
good
wouldn't listen to
point.
the media. They would listen to the people they know, not,
Yeah, that's a
not
very
what
good
other people
point.
think.
Yeah, like my character,
Yes,
that, I'm a good person, I'm kind, I want to try to help
right.
others however I can. You've seen my badass side that, but like they still just don't, they automatically shut it down. And I'm
Yeah.
so sorry that happened to you and to
Oh,
everyone.
that's okay. I'm just, it was a blessing to meet you and everybody
Oh, me too.
in the movement to get the word out about the children.
Yep.
And that was like a godsend and a blessing to meet all of you.
Oh, you too. Thank you. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Me too.
So let me ask you, so gosh, that you went down the rabbit hole way
Yeah.
before a lot of people. I mean, I feel like a lot of the general population out there. I mean, I just think about people like you and that have known about this stuff for so long. Like, how did you even, when you realize it's finally real, like
Yeah.
there's no denying it. How did you get through the days and stuff? Because for
At first,
me, I just feel like, oh my gosh, I feel for these people because I don't know if I would have made it.
it was shocking when I first found out that what they were doing to the children. Like I felt like a bomb went off inside my brain. Like I didn't even tell anybody about it for a couple weeks because it just seemed unreal. But there
Mm-hmm.
was back then on YouTube, you can see, and the internet, it seemed to be more of the Wild West. You could find out and see more things. Like I saw
Mm-hmm.
thing where they were talking about George Bush being at these parties, and then that there were like children in cages here in Tampa at one of the military bases, and that was kind of when I was first being introduced to what was going on with the trafficking. And it was just mind blowing to even think that that could be going on. But then I started being introduced to some of the other stories, like the McMartin case, where the children were drawing. They were at daycare during the day, and then they were drawing what was going on in these rituals where they were taking the kids from the daycare during the day and taking them to these tunnels. And they
Were
took
their
it to
parents
court.
involved? Wait, can I ask a question? So were these parents dropping their kids off at a daycare,
Yeah,
or is it so
the
they were
parents were
taking,
dropping their kids off at a daycare,
and
and
where was
then
this again?
I'm not exactly sure, but it was called the McMartin case.
Okay.
And they were being taken from that daycare to these rituals that were demonic. And they were drawing pictures of what was going on when they would go home. And then it was taken
Ah.
to court, but because the crooks were involved at the courts, it was never, they said the kids were lying, you know, that wasn't true.
Innocent kids that just come up with these things out of
Yes,
nowhere. Can I
yes,
say something about that real quick? That's one thing that I am realizing now when you realize human trafficking and pedophilia
yes,
and adrenochrome and all these things that you think because they've been in so many of your movies
right.
that I feel like it's definitely part of the brainwashing that they claim it as entertainment, but it's really documentation. But my point is when you hear children are the most honest,
Right.
honest. They haven't been, their minds haven't been corrupted yet. And if people do their studies in scientific studies, not like I'm just done with people saying woohoo studies. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard now because there's so much scientific, proof about this. But my point is they're so innocent, and yet
Yes.
a court would actually say that all these kids are
Well,
just
I think the crooks were that were part of the, the judges, they're all Masons, they're all protecting each other, and they were probably doing the same thing as well.
I agree, just
The
like
high
a lot
level.
of things that they've been
So
doing and things
they
don't
were
make sense.
and they were able to throw out the cases and make the children look crazy, when so I was being led to all these stories. They were kind of randomly coming up as I was researching on the internet. That was one of them. And that was back in 2012 when I was introduced to that one. That was when I was that's when I was found out about the Illuminati, but it was started from the rappers talking about it, how they made it.
That's so
Once I found,
crazy. You
and
put it
once
all together like
yeah,
that.
I felt like I was being led to it spiritually because one piece kept happening to another piece and another piece and another piece. And then when Q came out, there was more going on with that. And then there was that video of the Kennedy kids when they were Timber, singing Timber. Have you seen that when the Kennedy grandchildren were singing Timber?
No.
It was it was to like alert that Bush, the one who was, called the hit on JFK. Oh my God, there's balloons coming up. What
How'd
happened?
that
Did you see
happen?
that?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
That was weird.
I've never seen Zoom do
Really?
that. That's
That's so weird.
crazy. That
Um,
was cute. Well, God's sending you balloons.
Thank you, God. I love you.
Oh,
What was I saying?
oh, about the timber thing.
Oh, the Kennedy kids were singing it. And what they were saying basically in a comm was that George Bush was basically over with, and he was the one who called the hit on JFK. And all the JFK's grandchildren are in that video singing Timber. That he's basically done.
I love it though. How
Yeah.
creative to
So
expose
that was like,
something.
that was about the time when Q came out. And then so I just kept watching videos and truthers and just, being led to the story. But I felt like I was spiritually being led to that story to know about the trafficking and to then help, get the word out about the trafficking. And I felt passionate to want to help and be a digital soldier to get that story out there.
I love it. So if I can just share something, and I've said this quite a few times in my interviews, but it's because you brought up the Bush family. I'll never forget, because I lived in New Hampshire, so I hadn't really ever taken a trip out to Kennebunkport, and that's where the Bush complex was, right on the ocean there. And so I had
What
no
state?
clue.
What state?
Maine,
Maine.
Kennebunkport, Maine. Yeah. And I had no clue what was going on. This was probably at least 12 years ago. And so we pull up to their compound or whatever you want to call it. And here I'm thinking, oh, I'm stopping in front of one of the presidents, and this is kind of cool, whatever. Instantly, I got out of the car. I don't like I was fidgety. I felt like there was something going on. It felt super,
Oh,
super negative. And now here we are. I'm like, makes a lot of sense to me now. I mean, the whole town is just beautiful and quaint, but even when I would walk into town on the cobblestones, like I just felt like the whole area was just creepy and it was
oh,
driving me crazy because I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't
wow.
know how to explain it. So now, and what I also love is that you're sharing your story, how you're putting little pieces together.
Yeah,
And I feel like so many of us are all doing it on our own. So, like, we're all bringing the one
right,
big puzzle piece
right,
together, where we're all like, people aren't shunning us, like, oh, I found this information, I found that. Like, we're all utilizing it and kind of putting it together for the big
Mhm.
picture. And I think that's amazing that you figure that out all on your own and you
It
just
started
followed
from
your
watching
gut.
YouTube videos because YouTube was really like the Wild West back then. They had all kind of stuff on there, but the rappers started telling their story,
Do you
trying
remember
to get.
which rappers? So people can kind of look that up. Like
I
anyone in
don't.
particular?
I
Was it like Tupac or anyone like that? Was he already gone?
I don't know if he was. It was just I don't really know because I wasn't really into rap back then. Really, I never
Yeah,
have
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
girl.
yeah. But
But
people can start researching it.
I just remember being
Okay.
shocked hearing them talk about these stories. Like, and there was different videos of it, and
Yep.
that's when I started researching the Illuminati and what they were about, and because I was like, oh, this is sad. All my friends who've been at following their dreams for 20 or 30 years, this is what you got to do. You have to be a devil. Like, I don't want to be a devil. I want to be an angel. I want to,
Yeah.
that was not the reason I wanted to be an actor, like an actress. Like, I want to create like stories that, inspire people and make them happy.
Yeah.
Want to like be a
Yeah.
part of creepy Illuminati.
Yeah.
But it was the rappers who I feel like they kind of were ahead of getting the story out of what was going on and what you had to do to make it.
And it's interesting that you said that too, because I feel like the rap industry, that, like you said, it's kind of like the beginning of them exposing these symbolic things and
Right.
stuff. And here our kids are wanting to buy the same things like that. That's so creepy when you think about it.
I
Like,
know.
I think
But I
parents
think it
should
was
be,
all by design. It was all
oh,
by
absolutely. I mean, I
yes.
like you, myself, and the rest of us, we've been doing a lot of research because we hear, our true president, Mr. T, saying signs and symbolism are gonna be their biggest downfall. And
Definitely because they're doing the one eye, they're going like this. There's millions of pictures you can Google to see the celebrities doing that because that was one of the things they
yeah,
do. That was one of the rituals that they had to do.
it just upsets me so much to realize that,
It
you
was in
know,
our faces, the whole time.
that's what I mean. I mean, as a parent, I mean, I'd like to think that my girls dressed pretty well and think like they didn't get into a lot of like the jewelry and these
Yeah.
evil type necklaces and things like that. But it really makes me start feeling for the parents like we just
The
didn't
parents have no
see it.
idea, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And the kids don't,
Yeah.
they're just copying what they see.
I know. I'm so glad that you said that because what I'm realizing now too is once you can wrap your head around this whole big picture of how we've all been brainwashed. It's not
We've
just
all been
like
lied to our
we've
whole life.
all been brainwashed, lied, whatever you want to call it. But what just bums me out is so many of us, our brains were preoccupied so much with work and running around for the kids' activities. We just didn't a lot of people, I feel, including myself at one time, just didn't one recognize it. And two, we were just so busy.
Well, everyone's so busy. How do they have the time when they have a family to even know what's going on? They have no idea.
That's what I mean. And now
Yeah.
that people are awakening, I mean, I
I think
can't.
I think COVID also was a awakening because there were people they were at home.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
think that they were researching then. Plus, everybody was researching about the vaccine. Like I was watching all the doctors that were speaking out against the vaccine.
I
So I
remember
knew
that.
just watching the pharmaceutical commercials that they're telling you, right? They have to tell you. That's a part of what they have to do. They feel that releases them of karma if they tell you what they're doing to you. They tell you
Yeah.
right in the pharmaceutical commercials all the other things it's going to cause when you
Yep.
take them.
But it's going to help your headache. You could
Yeah,
have an aneurysm. You could have
you
a
might
heart
die.
attack. You
Yeah,
might get a blood clot or,
yeah.
or have these
No,
mysterious rashes and like,
but
yeah,
they think
but
the doctor's never going to lead them wrong. You know,
oh, because that's another thing they do in commercials that, that's one thing I recognized on my own as well over the years is it's the whole brainwashing thing. I hate that word. I just wish there was something else, but they say it right in your face. They make people scared, like consult your doctor before you take
yeah,
anything. Can I share you a really funny story about
sure.
something about that? Oh my gosh, it just proves, oh my gosh. So one of my girlfriends in our private group on Facebook, God's Warriors and Patriots, we all kind of share information and I created the group because I could foresee that people were going to need their friends that have been keeping up with everything and posting the news over the last year or so that when people were slowly awakening, they could pick away at the news. That was kind of my and also a support group you know, people that are like-minded, and I've met some great, great people. But remember how they took ivermectin off the
Mm-hmm.
market, right? Even though it
Mm-hmm.
was FDA approved, almost everyone in the military knows about it because it cured like practically
Right.
everything, you know. But
I just got some yesterday.
huh?
I just got some yesterday. I went to the feed store with my friend, and she has an autistic son, so I said maybe this will help him. So she gave him
Oh,
some yesterday. I went to her house yesterday, and he was he's 17 and he still is nonverbal. He can't speak. And
oh.
yelling, he yells a lot sometimes. And once
Mhm.
she gave him that, he seemed to like totally relax.
Wow.
But they say
Was it the
how often
animal grade one or the people grade one?
it was the horse one that, and I got
Okay.
from the feed store.
Well, this is what I want to lead into. So if you can give me 1 second, it'll take me like 2 seconds to bring this up so I can search my photos because I just
Yeah.
document everything. Zinc,
Yeah.
hold
I've been
on.
taking it for a couple years now.
Yeah. Oh my
But I
gosh.
said, I had a little spot here on my face that looked like it would be something you might have to get burned off, like from the sun.
Uh-huh.
I put that on to the ivermectin on, and it was gone in 3 days.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm so happy for
If you went
you.
to a skin doctor, it would be what, $300? And then
No
they probably try to
shit.
say, oh, it's cancerous.
And castor oil. Oh my gosh, I've been getting this like this little freckle on the bottom of my lip here, and I remember castor oil.
Oh,
I
wow.
put it on, it's like almost gone now. Like people
Really?
don't realize these things that they work, but
There's so many
so I
to
mean,
have.
it's so cheap. You don't have to take a day off from, you know, from work and travel and these co-pays and then spend your time at the pharmacy. But here's my funny story I had to share with you. So I told my girlfriend Casey in the group about ivermectin and this
Mhm.
company. So it's called I don't know if people can see this.
It's kind of blurry.
Yeah, because I got that light on. But you can get it on Amazon. It's called Organical Health is the company, and it's called, I'll spell it. It's Cinchona bark. And it has quinine plus zinc. But what was amazing is the company was brilliant. They just combined all the ingredients for ivermectin and they didn't label it as ivermectin. And it's like $30. You can keep it for your family. So I sent a link to my friend Casey and I said, stock up, you know, because she had told me one
Yeah.
time her and the family weren't feeling good. I'm like, you take this, it'll zap it within 2 days, you'll be brand new instead of letting a cold and flu drag. So
Hmm.
she's smart. She was doing her research. She goes, oh, I brought up this thing on that it's dangerous and the FDA is warning me about it. And it was
Oh,
so
gosh.
funny. She goes, and I always botch the name, the quinine. How do you pronounce it
Quinine.
again? Quinine. She goes, they're saying that quinine's dangerous. And I'm like, Casey, please go look up what that means. So she goes to look it up. She goes, oh, it's like grapefruit and stuff like that. And I'm like, and there you go. They're trying to tell you that your fruit are gonna kill you now. I mean, it made me furious, but at the same time, it made me kind of giggle in a sarcastic way because I'm like, literally, here you go. They're trying to tell you that
Well, they don't
grapefruit is bad for you.
will lie to them. They don't think the doctors will lie to them. They're trusting these people blindly. So
Yeah.
that's part of it.
And that's where I was leading to with the commercials. All the commercials
Yeah.
like consult your doctor first because oh my gosh, if you take some, I mean, I do agree there are some things definitely, but I mean, there's so many holistic sites and things like that
Yeah.
now where you can cross-reference your regular medication and stuff like that. Like, wouldn't people want to try something that they don't have to worry about as synthetic? And like, have you ever noticed too, in a lot of the pharmaceutical commercials, they have the infinity sign and all these satanic symbols where
Wow.
I would never have noticed it until I started looking at it. And then when you look up and you type in the name of the actual prescription and like some of these company names, and you just type in I'm just using this for an example, but what does this drug, no, how can I put this? Um, the thought's right there. And I know people that are watching will understand what I'm saying, but like, what's the definition of this word? Instead of saying like, what does this prescription do? And sometimes you look up like a dictionary word and you're like, oh my gosh, that's kind of creepy. You know, it's almost like it's in your face again, but you have to do your research to see that it's really sneaky and they're doing it on the down low.
And it's also the
right?
snake, the symbol, of the medical field as well. But people just, they
They
don't
don't,
think these people would hurt them. That's the
yeah.
problem.
They should
But
have
it
angel wings
become,
on it if they're good. They should have,
yeah,
instead of a serpent,
right.
they should have angel wings.
It's
Like, we're
become,
helping you.
yeah, it's become big business,
Yep.
basically. They
Yep.
were putting the vaccine on my dad, and he already had the antibodies because he got COVID early, and he has to have his blood checked every month due to
Hmm.
having any, I think, red blood cells. So
Hmm.
every time he got checked, he would still have the antibodies. But the doctor still tried to push it on him. And my mom said she didn't
Yeah.
trust these doctors.
Good
Like when
for
you go to
her.
their office, they have a bust of a headless angel. And that to me seems kind of strange. Like
Headless.
that seemed
I
kind
would,
of Masonic. But I think it is something Masonic.
that
But
does make sense. That's the first thing when you said that. I'm like, why would they want
yeah,
to remove the head of an angel?
and my mom is a nurse, so she had seen some people, take the vaccine in nursing home, and like 10 of them died like after they took it. So she knew not to take it. But I was watching all these videos, the truther videos, so I knew not to take it.
I'm so
So I
glad
was
I
trying to
didn't.
tell as many people that I could, but some people I did not tell because I knew they wouldn't believe me because they were
Yeah.
brainwashed by the medical field.
Yep. I totally can relate. There were definitely tons of people. I'm like, I can't even, they're just gonna laugh in my face. They won't
Yeah,
even be open to being. I mean, here's the scary thing. Don't you agree? Where if someone is sending you something that's really kind of like that
yeah,
scary, wouldn't you want to at least take a peek and consider it? Because if it's
right.
gonna do exactly what someone like you and I are sending, wouldn't you want to know? Or at
And
least look into it
yeah,
and because if you're having your loved ones and your elders and your kids taking it, like, right?
we're
I
lucky
just,
and blessed that we were
yeah,
actually alerted to know not to,
yeah,
because there's so many people that innocently took it because they thought it was going to help them.
makes me
That's
so
the sad
mad.
part. That's like the casualties of the art of war that is involved in all of this that I have a hard time with.
Yeah. Can I ask you, hopefully we won't get banned or anything, but have you heard of a more accurate number of how many people have passed from that?
The P.
Yeah, the
No,
V.
I have not. No, I have not.
I mean, it's definitely millions, you know that,
Yeah,
but
I'm not even sure where they would report it and be honest about it.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point
But I
because
know,
that's one thing I
know
want to.
a lot of people coming down with cancer, which the doctor says that was going to happen. Heart attacks. A lot of young people that were like 40s, 50s, dropping dead that had no problem. I and I saw like on my Facebook feed when I would look through it, it looked like a lot of people dramatically got older.
Ah, I'm gonna have to
Like it
go
was doing
back and
something, they looked aged by like 10 years, some of them 5 years. They looked older.
it's I know people that got it, and I mean, obviously we're all getting older, but
Yeah.
there are some people now that I think about it that do look way older than.
Well, I think it's hard on their bodies.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
I could see it on my Facebook feed. I'm like, what happened? Like they didn't look like that, a couple years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm gonna have to start looking at people's faces on Facebook. That's another thing I can't stand where literally it's in your face where they call these companies Facebook, where AI just watches
Oh,
your
right.
every move and
Right.
like tick tock, like as in a clock, like time's ticking, tick tock, and it comes from China. Like all these things run through my head randomly now. Do you feel the same way where you're just starting to like put these connections together on just names of companies and why? Like out of this is the thing that drives me crazy. Out of all these words in the world, they're like in company names, in like a product name, they're picking things that literally have a lot of them have some type of creepy meaning when you look up like what does this mean? What does this word mean or whatever? And you look it up for yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's messed up.
Yeah, and people have no idea.
Oh my. Well, let me ask you, if you had any words of encouragement for people that are starting to awaken themselves right now in like baby steps, what would your encouragement be to them?
Well, I would join Telegram because it's a place where there's not a lot of censorship going on.
Yep.
And I would say that you would have to have a sense of wonder and don't be just kind of be open minded to know that everything you learn may not be true and just be open minded to that. Because some people seem to get angry right away when
Yeah.
they feel that they've been lied to.
Yeah.
So I would say just like pray and be spiritually led to where you need to go. But I would
Yeah.
start looking up on Telegram. I would start looking on X because it seemed like X has a lot of stuff going on right now with as far as a lot of information I'm finding.
Mm-hmm.
Find in Telegram
I
and the
love
way it's
that.
presented.
Mhm.
Um, and I would say like as you're doing that, the puzzle pieces will come together.
Yeah.
Like you will be led piece by piece to figure it out.
As hard as it is, I mean, it
Yeah.
is, I mean, for everyone, I feel like for people like us that have known about this and have been putting the puzzle pieces together, it was hard for us too. And, you know, there are also some solutions to help people on Telegram as well. Like, oh my gosh, like this and that. What do I do now? Like you just have to start doing your research and finding,
Right.
right? So it's not
I
all,
say to start on Telegram because it's not censored. Like people are being censored all the time on Facebook. To me, it seems like I see a lot of people putting things on Facebook, but I see like hardly anybody liking what they're putting on there. I don't even know if people even watch it. They
yeah,
seem to be still so asleep to even know what's going on Facebook. It seems it's I don't see them waking up there. Seems to me like there's more on X,
yeah,
like with people waking up. But I'm also noticing, which is pretty amazing, that you know how you can see on Telegram your friends that are joining if they're in your phone book, it'll
yes,
show
yes,
you.
more
I'm
are
seeing
jumping
a lot of
on.
people that are joining now.
I noticed that
So
a
that's
ton.
that's like
Good.
awesome to know that,
Yep, yep. And
because
I also love too that what you said is it's a truth platform, but there people on both sides are posting, so
yes,
nothing's being taken down. So it's literally there for everyone, right?
yes, yes. I think Telegram is best.
I do
Is
too.
and
I do
then X,
too.
then X. Truth
Yep,
Social, I'm sure as well.
yep.
You know, just Facebook that people would just it just seems more of oh put your pic. I can't speak. Put your pictures up there with what you're doing for
I
the day. But it
know.
doesn't
That's
seem like
Doesn't it
I
almost
shared
seem
something.
silly now? Not to sound mean, but it's like you have all these major things going on in the world. And granted, I like to try to keep things very lighthearted and, happy and so forth. But at the same time, I'm like, you're literally still taking pictures of like things that really aren't that important. Shouldn't you be using your time to like start putting the pieces together in
Well,
this crazy world?
people are just a lot of people are asleep. They I don't. It's just gonna have to take a
Yeah,
just a big great awakening for them to really wake up. I
yeah.
don't. Some people are just lost because they're
That-
they're busy. They're raising their family. They're working.
Yeah,
Like they don't really have the time to
yeah.
research and figure that out.
Yeah, and it's almost like I'm finding, I don't know about you. Well, I think I do because we kind of already talked about it, and I just put this together is don't you feel like a lot of people and the parents and the people that are busy, it's almost like they're still trying to find their own self, but they just don't know what their true self is all about because they're just too on the go, on the go, on the
Right.
go, on the go. Does that
Time
make
to
sense?
it does. It does because I see them when you how can you have time when you have three kids? You're running them to school, you're running them to practice.
Yep.
I don't see how a lot of people could really have time to know that.
Yep.
I get it.
Yeah. And
You know,
one that's another thing that one of my girlfriends and I were talking about. Do you remember when we were kids? It just didn't seem like we had as many weekly like sport activities. It just seems like all of a sudden in the last
It seemed more
20 years,
subtle.
like a
It,
ton more like
yeah, it
practices.
seemed more subtle back then. Like we didn't even lock our doors. We grew up in a small town, and it was safe. And then we could ride
Yeah.
our bikes down to the little town and get penny candy, and
Yeah, I
it
love
just
that.
seemed more innocent back then.
Yeah, but do you
70s.
also, yeah, and I guess also what I'm trying to say is, don't you feel like that these sports and um recreational sports and school sports though, I personally, when I reflect and look back on it, when we were growing up, we weren't bombarded with tons of like games and practices like every night after school. I also think that that's an intention because once you can connect the dots that the school, I mean, it's just common sense 101, where it's like I used to get so frustrated and I'm so mad at myself that, right before you had to register your kids for school and all that. And they're like, do they have all these vaccinations? And I'm like, oh, and it just breaks my heart. I just wish I could go back in time and they had nothing in them. No one would be sick all the time. And just when I started researching, it's so gross to think that they're putting stuff that's synthetic in your body, that's
Brand
not even
new,
organic.
perfect,
It's creepy.
a perfect brand new baby they're ruining. It's a wonder the baby even survives. They're like only 3 months old when they're doing that.
Yep. Yep. So I pray. So here's one last question for you. How do you think that, the one thing that I feel bad about, like, not that I don't care about the parents and, people that are mature enough to start doing their own research and stuff, but how do you think that I feel so bad for our youth? Like us parents, we had no idea how bad social media really was in just them constantly being targeted and brainwashed with stuff. And I need to look like this. I need this product. I want to look like her. Let's all act the same. Like, how are they going to end up helping the kids so they don't? I mean, there's massive depression as there is already out there. I just don't want to see it happen anymore. Does that make sense? Or you
You
think?
mean with the kids, do you think they're depressed, or what do you mean?
I
Like,
just think that when the truth is told, I'm scared for these kids. Like, do you have any type of input on, or
what
maybe a
age?
thought of how they're gonna like go about this so that there's less casualties for, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? So people don't go crazy. That am I
Right.
getting the message across?
I do not know how that's
Yeah,
going to go down, but I think they're going to be in a state of shock.
yeah,
Because they're angry that they've been lied to.
yeah,
They, they don't, that really, I don't know how that's going to, how that's going to play out, but I think the truth are people that do know, can help them and lead them to know. And I think if they're going to show people like the truth of what happened, I think that's going to help them too.
yeah,
But I think we need to pray and, for them that they can get through it, because I think a lot of people are going to be shell shocked.
yeah,
They're not going
yeah,
to believe it
yeah. It's
until
gonna
they
be,
stand up that went through it, and they tell them why
yeah.
they to take the Gone with the Wind program, to, take witness protection, because they didn't want to be a part of going to Epstein Island and be compromised. So I think once it all does come together, though, a lot of people are going to realize that these people are American heroes for what they've
Mhm,
done for us.
mhm.
JFK, the Kennedys, the Trumps, they're
Mhm.
American heroes. And
They are,
so
and their
all the other
families.
celebrities as well that took the Gone with the Wind program to help save humanity and save the children.
Yeah. It breaks my heart to
I
think
think we
that
were
this,
amongst that like our entire life.
I was
Some
just
people don't want to hear it when you start to tell them about it, but I think everybody will come together when they
yeah.
know that the
I,
children were harmed, and what they did to save the children. They basically put their lives on the line to go underground to save all these children that were trafficked throughout the, entire world. They were running like, underground tunnels. When they
that's
find
what,
that out, they're going to be shocked, but I think it's going to be a uniting with the coming together for the children.
I agree. I agree. And the children here now, like the kids, it's everywhere, all children, the ones that were
Right.
trafficked and so forth. And I think that, like you said, that's going to be the hardest part for people to
Yes.
understand, that it was literally happening under our feet. But the even scarier part is that people that were our quote unquote leaders and the people that people looked up to
Right.
are the ones that were in charge of it. No
Right.
wonder why no one ends up rules for you and not for me. I mean, how long is it going to take for people to awaken, to realize it's not about you being right anymore? It's about doing what is right, you know?
Mhm. I
Ah,
think me and everybody, when they find out what was done to the children and that we shouldn't idolize these people, the
mm-hmm.
celebrities and,
Yeah,
politicians, we shouldn't
yeah,
idolize them because they were doing things right underneath everybody's noses. It wasn't everybody. It was just there was select people that were terrible, bad people that were, a part of this.
and they were doing it, having fun right in front of everyone with their little code words and all that. It's
Mhm.
just like the military. I mean,
Well,
people, that's the thing that people also, I want to encourage them to think about this is, we all know, military has code words,
right.
and same as pedos. We just, a lot of us just didn't pick up
Well,
on it,
just like they've said, the symbolism will be their downfall.
Yep.
So the fact that they did do that will show people what they were a part of, what they were doing.
I can't wait. I
Me
can't.
too.
I may sound crazy. This is the crazy Sharon coming out. Like, blood does not scare me. None of that stuff. If I saw someone with a broken finger or a leg or something, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. Like, I don't know what it is, but I want to see it. I want to see a recording. I want to make sure. So I feel inside that we don't have to ever worry about this stuff ever again.
Well,
Because,
we're blessed that we were chosen to know what's going on right now. And we're
yeah,
also, it's just, we're blessed to know that the children are safe now.
yeah.
That we had heroes, we had good men that were willing
And
to stand
women.
up, and women.
And women, we
And,
can't forget the girl power,
sorry,
right?
girlies. Yeah,
Oh,
we have, good men and good women that were, willing to put their lives on the line and their own families
no
to
shit,
to help
right?
save humanity. I
And a
mean,
lot of these parents, I've been hearing stories of some of the families don't even know like, it's so top secret that they can't even tell their families what they're doing. They're just going off to work. Gosh, I
mhm.
can't even imagine. Like, when I think about that stuff, I just want to break down and cry. Like, how did they do that?
They were definitely not of God, because people that were of God would not do that. I don't even believe they're human.
Yeah. I mean,
That
I
they
mean
were
our
doing.
heroes.
Well,
I mean our
they believe their,
heroes,
and they
like their
also believe
families not knowing. Does that
in
make better sense?
me.
I meant the heroes, not the bad guys, but the heroes. Like, I've heard stories where the people that have been dealing with the human trafficking underneath tunnels, like their family don't even know that they've been doing it. Like, how do
Wow,
they do that?
that would have to be very hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like that,
Yes,
I'm so grateful for all of them. I
I
I
know.
pray
Too.
every night. I'm like, if
Me too. We're so blessed that our eyes were open to know what was going on and to be a part of helping them get the
yeah.
word out of what has been going on with the children.
Yeah. So you do believe as well, just kind of like all of our stories and entertainment, that there's actually a song by John Prine who looks just like John Denver from his early years. I'm just throwing it out there. And I didn't even know who he was. He just popped up in my YouTube algorithm a couple of years ago, and I'm like, who's this John Prine guy? And then I noticed, I'm like, he reminds me of someone. And then I'm like, oh, he reminds me of John Denver. And I literally took a screenshot where John Prine was in his really young
Oh wow.
years. And he just, all he had was this mustache. I'm like, you take that mustache off, and that's John Denver right there.
Have you
But
been
I
following
digress.
the site?
But he has songs
Heck,
that explain to what is happening. And he says in one of his songs, there's a song that says, "Some humans ain't human." And when you
I
listen between the lines, I'm like,
and Diana also said that about the royal family, that they were not human. Well, they
who said
believe they're
that?
Diana, Princess Diana.
She did say that publicly?
In one of the interviews, she said they're not human, but
Oh, I
they
never heard
believe that
that
they're,
one.
the bloodline families believed that they were from the seed of Cain, and they were proud of it. And to me, it's like, if they're not human, because they would not do what they did to the children if they were of God. They were not of
That's
God.
right. Yep. So as there's the Christ gene in the bloodline that runs through the
Hmm.
Kennedys and so forth, so was the evil seed of Satan. And I
Right.
think that's where people are going to finally start putting the big puzzle piece together, because there's no coincidence that all these, scary movies are about good and evil. It's
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 all
they had to
all
pre-program people so that when the truth was told, they literally would be able to understand it a little better. Because if we didn't have the entertainment, we'd all be dead. We'd all be like this.
well, we're living in biblical times to even be alive to see this, you know, this come alive, and to see it.
Yeah.
A new world's going to be coming with the age of Aquarius, and people are not going to have to struggle like they did. They made it so everybody had to struggle, so you couldn't think. So you
Yeah.
would be too busy to think.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
Jill and I were just talking about that last night, where it frustrates me and I thought I was the only one that was thinking this, but for like decades, I'm like, I'm tired of all this jargon talk. I mean, no one can understand lawyer talk, your tax talks, your, medical and so forth. It's like this foreign jargon. So that's why it's easier to just be like, oh, okay, because they say so. So they're good guys and they're good people. So I'm just gonna, that's how easy it was for evil to just take over. It's crazy.
Well, it also, like, it was hard for the regular person to fight that. Like, how could you even begin to fight it? Because they were in charge of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it took
Mm-hmm.
good guys and good girls, good women and good men to, you know, they had our backs.
I'm so thankful.
And I thought it was hopeless. I didn't think they had our backs. And then when I found out they did in the whole story, I was like, oh my gosh.
I
And
know.
maybe we get to experience this and be alive during this.
I know. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like,
Yeah.
so here's what I ask on the encouragement part. So we all know that the news has been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And we know that there's going to be some big event that's going to awaken everyone. When people hear that, what are your words of encouragement on that? Because that is going to be scary for people. So if they can forward think, what would you tell them on that part on
I
top?
would tell them that the media is not always true. And we know that that's why Trump said fake news, fake
Like,
news, fake news, because there's going to be a scare event. We've been told that over and over again. We don't know how that's going to happen, but I have a feeling it's going to be like a thief in the night. Like, it's going to take everybody by surprise. But just
mhm,
have faith, and pray to God, and know that what you're seeing is not actually what is happening, what is true.
mhm,
I reach out to friends that are truthers and let
mhm.
them tell you the story, and actually maybe then they'll have more of an open mind to hear the
Yep.
truth.
Yep. And to hang in there, because it'll
Yeah.
be so worth it that,
Right.
and then, that I think that's another thing that people, words of encouragement, if I could offer to anyone for future viewers is, to think about, we, our souls decided to be here, right
Right.
here,
Right.
right now.
Right.
Like, what a stinking gift. And when I think about that, I'm like, I think everyone needs to remember how important each and every person
Sorry,
is, because,
my phone was,
oh, no
I don't know
balloons?
how much time I have left or not, but
Yeah, yeah, let's wrap it up. But
probably
like,
got a little bit of time.
yeah, okay.
But I think
Um,
that
I mean, what a gift to be here. And my
we are so
point,
lucky and blessed and honored. I thank God every day that I was chosen to be a part of knowing, even though it's been hard,
Yeah.
going through all of it.
Yeah.
But I believe God led us here, and He's going to lead us out to a new world, and we're going to be it's going to be amazing.
I
It's going to be
can't.
health wellness. It's not going to be all those pharmaceuticals. It's going to be health wellness with the Tesla
Med
technology,
beds. Yep.
and
And
with
that's real. That's real
with
for the record.
Natara, like everybody will have money, and they won't have to
Have to
work
work
as
hard.
hard. They could follow their dreams. They could help other people follow their dreams. They could help children. They could help homeless. There's the
Animals,
sky's
the
the limit.
rescue animals.
And the sky's the limit for like everybody. Like it's just exciting to be a part of a whole new world.
I know. And can I just add to that? Because this is what I feel is when I was getting to the point on people who are kind of like the non-believers right
Mm-hmm.
now, but soon we know when the big scare, whatever it is, tactic is going to end up happening, is you were chosen to be here, right now. And we've all have been pushed down to think that
Right.
we're not important, that we don't
Right.
matter, that whatever you have to offer doesn't mean anything because you're not like these big, big corporation and all that. That's not it. Like literally, you can do whatever you want. You can start listening to your heart and all those dreams that, I think that everyone that is good really wants to do good. It's just they haven't been shown it because they've been taught that they've got to work for someone else. So they've never been able to think for themselves, to think of what they want to do. So then
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have a chance to really hone in on learning more about themselves. Like why, like all of us, we're like, why, God, why? Because, so many of us have been down the shitter hole, excuse my language, just beaten down by everyone. And we're all realizing why, but now it's going to be their turn. And what I mean is just it's going to work. It's going to work. Just be open-minded and just like, my gosh, I still just can't believe and wrap my head around like the good things that are going to happen. Like
Right.
everyone can go on vacations. That's another thing. I could go on and on, but like one last thing I wanted to say that really like it's those simple things that you just break down where I'm like, my gosh, everyone's working, like literally Monday through Friday, year
Mm-hmm.
round, but yet most families only get to go away for 1 week out of an entire year.
Right.
Like,
Right.
wrap your head around that.
I
That is
know.
so not right. It's like, here you're
No.
working so hard. Why wouldn't it's because like
And
I
they
can't wait for that where
and they
people
become
can,
to think that that's just how it is.
yeah. I mean, come on, that
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't make sense. So I just like to get people to start thinking outside the box where those little things where you just like, oh, I never did that. It's so simple. Like it was so I love it.
I look forward to it, and I hope everybody
Ah,
comes through it, and they're not too afraid, and it's a new world where they get to experience that.
yeah, I can't wait. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I can't
Awesome.
wait. Well, Tracy, thank you so, so much. I'm so glad we finally met in person. You are just amazing and beautiful and
You're
kind and
art.
strong. Just like,
You're beautiful yourself, and I love your Red Baron, Sharon the Red Baron name.
thank you.
Thank you for having me
You
on
can,
your show too.
oh, thank you. You can thank my dad. I'll thank my dad for that nickname. So, but well, thank you so much. And if you can
Yes.
think of anyone that you feel that would be a great fit, I'd
Okay.
love to interview them. And for all the people that are catching the replay, please like and subscribe because honestly, I'm really excited in sharing this. I like to say instead of watching news and the boob tube and all that, like start listening to what people have to say and how exciting it is. And I
And
love
then I
it.
was gonna say for everybody to follow our channel, Busting Out of the Matrix on Telegram. And I've run it with my sissy. Her name is Jillio. I call her Jillio. Jill Wood. She's an amazing financial investor. Anybody that wants to check out Jill's amazing investment techniques that she has that are the cutting edge of everybody else in investments,
And
and
learning how the new system is going to
how the
be.
new system is going to work and all the test technologies with silver. And she's makes money for everybody when nobody else is making money for their clients. So we came together and
Thank you.
decided to have our own show our own channel on Telegram called Busting Out of the Matrix.
Love it. Great show. That's
Um,
how we really
and we,
connected even closer.
we call ourselves Two Blondes, and we want to uplift everybody with like the truth and love and laughter and happiness and and fun and the truth.
Yeah.
But you can follow
Yeah.
us on Two Blondes Saving America on Busting Out of the Matrix is the name of the channel. So that's actually where we're going to be posting
I
both of the
love it.
videos. Sharon the Red Baron.
Oh, I love it. And thank you so much, because that was going to be my next question. Where can people find you? So is
And then
busting out of the matrix?
Busting Out of the Matrix is on Telegram. And then you can also find me on social media under Tracey Sheldon.
Mhm,
That's Tracey with the E.
mhm.
Tracey with E. Everyone tries to spell it with C. But Tracey Sheldon is on Facebook, on X, and Instagram.
Yeah.
And then also what else? The Man with the Pink Bicycle. If you want to, that's the movie that I did this year that won 12 festivals. Here's the Man with
Congratulations.
the Pink Bicycle.
With the pink.
You can like us on Facebook, The Man with the Pink Bicycle, and you can like us on Instagram, Pink Bike Movie.
I
So
love it. So can they download? Is that on like Amazon
it
Prime?
is on Vimeo, but we are in the process of changing some of the songs that and before we stream it, we have to change some of the songs that were famous that we weren't allowed to use. I told the
Oh.
director not to do that, but he did it anyway. So
Oh.
now there's 2 songs. Most of it's original music. What
Uh-huh.
happens is my brother breaks up with his girlfriend. My brother's girlfriend breaks up with him, and all he has left is her pink bike. So, and it's a pink bike that when I was visiting in LA, I bought for like $80 and I left it out there. That's the
Uh-huh.
it came about. And we had gone to LA 20 years ago, the 3 of us, when we were in we went to Los Angeles, the 3 of us, and we called ourselves the Three Amigos. We started out extra work on 90210, like Beverly Hills, 90210 and the Brady Bunch movie. And then one thing led to another. We studied acting, and this is the first movie that we all made together. So
That's
we were able to use
awesome.
all the friends in LA that we knew, and we filmed in Venice Beach. It took us 3 years to film it. And then
Wow.
it won 12 awards at different festivals in Los Angeles and also in Florida. So
That's
it's about creating
awesome.
your path, being who you want to be, not being afraid to be yourself, letting your freak flag fly, and just be unique. Don't let anybody tell you can't ride a pink bike. And and my
I
parents are in it. They play like crazy parents that wear leather, and then I play a disco roller girl Hot Wheels that he
that's
meets that tries to get him like to bust out of his shell. And then my brother's original music's in it. A lot of original music of all the people we knew in LA is in it, except for those couple songs we have to change. And then we're going to put it on streaming platforms. But I just want to make movies that are like happy and have a happy, fun message. And
I
I'm the
love it.
executive producer. And then I have the part as Hot Wheels. And then it's all the people some of the people we grew up in Pennsylvania, and some of the people we knew in LA. But I just want to continue to do movies like that have a message, that are fun and happy, that look like the Technicolor from the classic Hollywood movies, like Breakfast at Tiffany's and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. So
I love
follow,
it.
yeah, if everybody wants to follow our journey with the Man with the Pink Bicycle, you can like that on Facebook, and it's the Pink Bike Movie on Instagram. So I just wanted to get the word out about the Man with the Pink Bicycle. It's a
Yeah.
comedy, and
Oh,
it's just,
good.
and it's in the end the bike lights up, and it becomes pink, like all pink lights. I shouldn't give away the ending, but
Don't, you
it's
can't.
yes, and it's like they have a in Venice Beach every Sunday they have an electric bike parade. So we have that in the movie as well. But
Oh,
it's just
that's
like a
cool.
feel good movie about
I
you
love
know
it.
being who you want to be, creating your own path. And it's just, to me, like those are the kind of movies I want to see more of, just like
I
the movies
agree.
I love growing up, like
Yeah,
what
like the ETs and things like the fun. I
like
mean,
just
there's some
like
sad spots, but
movies that really uplift you, not, they take you to
yeah.
a place, not a dark place. So I'm all
Yeah.
about like peace, love, happiness, and the age of Aquarius of, all of us following our dreams and making other people's dreams a reality, and just
Oh.
just I just always have followed my heart, and I feel like, that's what led me here, and we should all like help each other and, love each other in our
You're
new
gonna make
reality.
me cry.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
new
God,
reality
I
of the age of
love it.
Aquarius. So I'm
I,
excited for all of us that we got to all
congratulations.
come together, all of
Yeah,
us like as truthers to meet. Like I never expected to be a part of any of this, like to be a part of a truth movement.
me
But I'm happy
neither.
and blessed and feel that, we've all been chosen to get the word out and to be digital soldiers.
I
So
love that you said to,
yes,
well, first, congratulations. That's a big deal.
thank
That's
you.
awesome. That must have been a lot of hard work. I'm
It
gonna
was
put that on my list
it's
to
so
watch.
much fun though. It's so much fun.
That's
Yeah. But
awesome.
our next step with it is to get it on the streaming platforms out there.
Oh,
But
goody. That's
it
so
was fun making the movie with all your friends. That was one of the best parts about it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be watching it over the weekend.
Yeah. If,
I'm
if you can't find it on Vimeo, I can send you a link to watch it.
Could
If
you
that's
do that after? What I
yes.
could do is if you want to send that to me after we get off, I'll include it in the description.
Okay.
That
Okay.
would be great.
It's
It
a
just make it
short.
easier for
It's
everyone.
trying to think the length. I think it's 45 minutes. It's considered a micro feature. It's like more of a short,
45,
but
magic number.
there it is. But it's more of a comedy. It's
Love
like
it.
it's to uplift people, to like, make them happy.
Those are the kind of movies I want to listen to from now
Me
on.
too.
I stopped watching scary movies probably 4 years ago, once I really started to pick up on the evil crap that like
Yeah, I don't
that's
like
gonna
dark
be a
movies. I like happy movies, love stories. I don't
yeah.
like darkness. I've always
Yeah.
liked bright happiness.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm done with the dark crap.
that's why I never watched the news, and I still do not
Hmm.
watch the news. So
Good girl. I love it. Well, thank you again, Tracy.
yeah,
I
hey,
can't thank you
Sharon.
enough. I can't wait to watch The Man with the Pink Bicycle. That's gonna be fun. You know,
Yeah,
so do I need to decode it too? I'm gonna enjoy it first and then
you
maybe
know
I'll
what
go back and
like,
decode.
is what it comes to when you decode it. The man with
What
the
was
pink.
that?
I said it also comes to the second coming, the man with the pink bicycle,
Oh,
when you decode it, which is kind of crazy.
that it? That's why I'm asking.
And I had no idea. Like we had a little screening in Dallas, and it was like last year. And when we were watching it, they said, "Oh, I wonder what that means." The man with the pink bicycle, and they put it into their little, gematria decoders, and that's what it came to 121, which is also the second coming. So I thought that was pretty randomly crazy.
There are no coincidences.
I know, right?
I'm sure we're all gonna find out eventually.
Right, right. We'll
Oh
see
boy.
what the future holds for us, but we just have to be positive and
Yep.
pray and
Yep.
visualize an amazing future.
Oh, my visions have been crazy lately. I'm not alone. I'm finding that a lot of people are getting real visual downloads and everything, just like they spoke of and all this, all the esoteric religions and so forth. It's happening. So I think it's super cool. So, well, thank you, Tracy. Don't
Sharon, you
forget to
rock.
send me that link.
I will send
Okay.
you. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye
Tell your
bye.
parents I said hi. Bye.
I will. Hi. Bye.
Okay.
Hi,
Bye.
Sharon. Bye, the Red
Bye.
Baron.
Bye. Bye.
See you.
I love you.